Day, if I ever get 100%, I'm gonna retire, and I'm shooting every day to get that 100%.
If you have us come out and flush cow, watch the process, ask questions, try and see if somebody lets you look under the microscope and you can see these embryos.
The transfers, the nutrition, the management, everything. But Mother Nature, she just knocks on the door and says, "Not today."
Thank you all for tuning in. It is a beautiful day that the Lord has made, and today I have with me a couple guys that are lucky I was smart in college so I could help one in particular through it.
He'd like to think so.
Yeah. But the cool thing about today is I get to introduce y'all to Casey. I almost said Casey and Matthew Ballard. They're not married.
Hell no.
They work together. Legacy Genetic Resources. This is Casey Ballard, Matthew Markwood. I have been with them. They've been with me from the beginning. And it's kind of ironic. We're in a room of champions, and 3/4 of them they made through our embryo transfer. Matthew's famous saying is he saw them first.
Saw them first.
And
I knew they were good from the start.
That's right. He runs the microscope, and I'm the one that makes sure, hey, Markwood, I want bulls. I want good ones. So he sorts through them, and I was talking a little too much trash to him last year because I got a lot of heifers in line.
Yeah. He's late paying his bill, I guess.
Yeah. But Casey and Markwood are incredible people, and I want to share them and a little bit of their knowledge with you today, especially if you're into the repro side of things. I want to get into maybe how they got started, why they enjoy what they do, and if you're interested in doing kind of some of the same things, hopefully you can take a lot from today. So what is your favorite part of your job, or what's the most rewarding part of your job?
I'd say it's seeing the calves, seeing the results, seeing what you've worked so hard to do. And I know it takes a while to do. You got all these shots and all these 9 months of pregnancy, 9.5 months of pregnancy, and just seeing those calves hit the ground, and then another, however long it takes y'all to get them up, raise them. And then you see those high sellers in the bull sales. You see the high sellers in the females. You see the pictures of the backdrop photos that you made, and that's always cool to see that you got to help be part of that process.
I guess for me, it's seeing my clients be successful. And, all of this to me it's a team. Everybody has their role in this, and we're part of it. And then when we see y'all successful, that makes us happy. Y'all campaigning the banners and, the high sellers and stuff, knowing that we had a part of it, and creating those and making y'all successful. So that's the biggest joy for me is, seeing our clients successful, because it makes us feel we are part of the team in y'all's program, and that has a special place for us.
Yeah. And just working with y'all from the very beginning, you can tell just how genuine that is. We have a friendship outside of it, so it goes a little deeper. But y'all are, especially this time of year, y'all are basically at some other ranch every day, aren't you, pretty much?
Yeah, I mean, more. It's November is kind of our kickoff season, and for us, we're on the road Monday through Friday at a different place, different client. Different cattle or a different breed of cattle, and we'll be on the road all the way through December. Then we kind of get a lull in January due to kind of the stock show season majors, but then we're back at it till about middle of July.
Cool. I'd like to get into a few just statistical things. Do you know what month of transfers give you the best conception rates?
It's kind of depends on your program and your feeding program. I know we do, when you can get some great weather in November and December, that usually is some great time, but we usually hit some home runs in April when that grass is starting to green up. Everybody's starting to, you're starting to get that cooler weather, but it's not too hot. You're you're still not freezing, and you've got some good green grass creeping up, and your nutrition's starting to kind of peak. And so, like, that's always a nice time for us. We're kind of a sweet spot.
Have y'all had a perfect day, like on palpating?
No,
Never.
Never.
And that's part of, I guess, I have a little, I don't know, I guess a challenge that when I started, I've always lived by that. One day, if I ever get 100%, I'm gonna retire, and I'm shooting every day to get that 100%.
I'm gonna make you retire.
But no, I mean, there's never a perfect day. You know, I mean, we try to shoot for the perfect day, and everything we can control, you know, to try to have that perfect day.
Yeah.
But it's hard. You know, there's so many factors involved to make it perfect, and always tell everybody, you know, you think you can have everything perfect, the transfers, the nutrition, the management, everything, but Mother Nature, she just knocks on the door and says, not today, you know. So but yeah, I mean, I strive to get 100% because that's been my goal. Get 100%, I retire.
Yeah,
still here.
What are some of the as you're flushing, and y'all do mainly conventional flushing, correct?
Yes, that's all we do conventionals, but we also work with clients when they do IVF. We do the transfers of IVF,
Gotcha.
but not the aspiration or fertilization of them.
Awesome. And on these conventionals, what is like two questions? What's the most famous cow y'all have ever flushed, and any breed? And two, what's the one that's given like the most numbers on a flush?
Man, 4 is like most famous, man. We've been blessed to work with a lot of high powered donors over the years. I don't, you know, probably the one that sticks out the most. There was, you know, Simmental Apple. She was, every time she would spit out 24 to 30 embryos.
Every time. Consistent.
5-6 years consistent. And then her daughters got in the pipeline, and they were the same way, just big hitters all the way through.
I remember one day she had a daughter that we flushed. She made 25 good embryos, put all 25 in, and made 24 pregnancies.
Yeah,
And
that was almost a perfect
almost
flush.
almost perfect flush on that donor. But yeah, that was a heck of a day right there.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's extremely unique and like upper level stuff, not only because she hit 90 something percentile on her conception rates, but y'all tell me that a lot of times those bigger number donors, they're maybe not quite as sticky in general as one that kind of hits more middle of the road numbers.
Yeah. those donors that have those big numbers, you know, typically kind of have, you know, they drop off in pregnancy rates and stuff. And she's just one of those unique ones that.
Yeah.
You call her a unicorn.
Yeah. That's awesome. Where is the sweet spot for like the best conception rates?
Far as
like numbers in a flush.
I mean, if we can kind of stay in that, 10 to 20 range, you know, like total, total ovocytes, you know, that would probably be, I always think if I can get that stimulation around that, you know, 15, 20, hey, that's my sweet spot. That's where I want to keep that donor at. Because, you know, typically if everything goes right, the semen, weather, all that, you know, you're into that, you know, probably 10, 12 good ones, and, you know, out of 20. So that's been my sweet spot.
Yeah. So today we're out of the studio and we're here at our facility because we're doing a flush and transfer day. And we just got through with conventionally flushing 11 donors. And on those 11, we averaged 8.6. And that's with one of them completely bombing. So I was very happy. National average is 6. We beat that by 2.6 with a bomb. So we're starting out good. Now we just got to go get them pregnant.
Yeah. Now I need these recips to work.
Yeah. If there's a young person that's enthusiastic about the business, loves reproduction side of it, what's some pointers y'all would give them as they look into studying reproduction, getting into this side of the business that y'all are in?
I'd say ask questions. Go, if you were to take a donor to Transova, watch the process, or if you have us come out and flush cow, watch the process, ask questions, try and see if somebody lets you look under the microscope and you can see these embryos, or just a saying that I had when I was in grad school was, don't let school get in the way of your education. So the hands-on experience is well worth more than some of the book work sometimes. And so it's just more or less, in our line of work, it's repetition and actually doing it. And the more you can be around it, the more you can be in it, the better off you're going to be if you're interested in this kind of work.
Yeah. And I know for me, my journey, to this point was, we showed cattle at a young age, and back in the day, to improve, we always AI'd or tried to AI and stuff. And for us, we'd always have to call someone, come AI the heifer or something. And I got, frustrated because, you can never get that person or something in high school, always busy and stuff. Yeah. So for me, I took AI school in, early, my freshman year, and I wasn't good, so I had to go back.
In high school?
Yeah, in high school, because I was fascinated, because I wanted to make better females, for myself, to show and to sell and make that cow herd better. That's a quick way to do it. And so I wanted to learn how to AI. And then once I learned how to AI, it's like you see those calves and, your work hit the ground. And then it's like, man, what about embryo transfer? And then I wanted to do, embryo transfer, like Markwood said. I went to kind of go observe and kind of see how these guys did it, through some of the legends that used to do it. And, just fascinating of what you do with Mother Nature and creating multiple embryos and transferring them and having all those calves on the ground. And, to me, it's just fascinating. And also, just the pure excitement of doing matings and hopefully seeing what they're going to do and stuff. So that's how I got, involved. But like Markwood said, I went to go see somebody do the embryo side of it and, just fell in love with it. But also, I think it started in high school because I wanted something better.
Hey guys, Colton here. I wanted to remind you about Express Livestock Genomics. If you're looking to get genetic defect testing with TH, PHA, or DS, Express Livestock Genomics is freaky fast. The fastest genetic testing results in the world. We promise to get you your results within 2 weeks of when we receive your sample. Check us out in the link below or expresslivestockgenomics.com. Now let's get back to the show. So from that kid with that passion to now being responsible for how many national, international champions do you think you're responsible for on the embryo side?
That's a tough one. That one's a tough one to keep track of.
Yeah.
That's
a tough problem.
I know 1 year in Houston.
I don't know how much my oil well makes.
I know in Houston, me and my wife Amy, we sat there because I think we had the Brangus, the Brahmins, the Embryos, I think like the Red Angus. I think at that time maybe a Beef Master, that we all had
maybe
a party in, all had a, at the open show, all we had a party in.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Having 4 or 5 breed champions that you had a party in.
Yeah, that's cool. Another full circle thing for me is I met you while I was at Texas A&M. I was at A&M with this guy, and we had cattle together on this little lease place, and they were flushing cows, and that's how I met you. And from going to school with Markwood, he went off and got his master's at Colorado State. Then ended up working at REI, which we now own. And while we were at school, he was always working with you on flushing. I was running over to Integrated and trying to get my Bull Woodrow collected and watching them and being fascinated with the bull collection process. He ends up working at REI. Then he works for you. Then we're working together. Then we end up buying REI and continue to work together. And it's just been an awesome full circle journey. For me, it's just been, I don't know, it's been a fun ride.
It's been a ride.
Yeah. And then when we first started, Amy was the one strawing and doing the lab work, and she got the boot when he came around.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if she got the boot, but she told you, hey, if you're going to give me kids, they need to get taken care of, and I'm staying here. And
Yeah. This is not the life of that with a wife and 2 kids.
Yeah.
I'm being on the road a lot.
On the road, what's your go-to fast food spot?
We eat a lot of Buc-ee's and breakfast in the morning. There's a little Whataburger, hamburgers, and I'd say there's a lot of tacos involved too.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
It's never bad. Buc-ee's and tacos, that's not a bad diet.
You can pack on some pounds.
Yeah.
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 Buc-ee's get a little expensive, those trips. Go in there and take 45 minutes and $45.
Yeah.
I've learned if you get there at 5 a.m., there's no line and you're good. Like,
Nice.
that's the best time to be there.
What's the worst day that y'all have had? And was it something that could have been prevented on, like, as a flush and transfer day? Or was it something that you're just going to have those days?
You can have both. You can have a worse day where Mother Nature just comes in and you're 80 degrees right now, and then it goes down to freezing and sleeting, and then, if you got donors and recips coming in that day, it's probably not going to be a great week to transfer embryos that next week, because you're transferring 7 days later. So that next week when that weather's in, you kind of expect that coming in, but then you've got some places that you can show up and you can see the management's not where it needs to be. You can see the cattle are not where they need to be, and you can tell that this is going to be a below average day. And it's just, sometimes you'll be surprised that, hey, it's a below average day, but sometimes you can kind of see it coming, but we're not the ones doing the management. So there's only so much that we can do, and there's only so much you can do to control Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, for us, it's been, those bad weather changes, kind of like, this coming Monday, I'm worried about those donors because that's when that weather dropped on us. I'm worried about those. What was it? When did that big snowstorm, ice storm hit?
Snowmageddon.
Snowmageddon. Was that 2021?
Yeah, 2021. That week, that was disaster. Just because everything was, kind of good weather, not good weather, but it was consistent weather. Then all of a sudden, it just.
I know right here it went from 80 degrees to below zero, and then in a 24-hour period, it went from 3 degrees to 83.
Yeah. Afterwards,
when it was over.
And that's in my lifetime. That's probably that is the first time I've ever had to cancel on somebody in my entire career. That's the first time, just because the roads were so bad. And
talking about work days, what's the most that you've done in a day as far as like flushing and transferring?
What was that one day? Like 22 donors and 200 and
it's like 220 recips.
220
was I
recips.
part of that day?
Yes.
Yes, you're part of that day.
Is that it started snowing on us like 1 a.m?
It was like getting snow.
Yeah.
There was some flurries at 1 a.m.
And this wasn't at a place that normally snows.
Correct.
This was like we're an hour away from the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
And we get snow flurries, and it's 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. We're trying to get finished up.
Yeah. That's probably been the record right there.
Yeah.
Typically
I was wondering what you were going to say when I asked that question, because I was part of that day, and I'm like, well, it went longer than 24 hours. So if you've done anything more.
Yeah. No, that's been the longest. Typically our days, probably anywhere from, I'd say 12 donors, about 100 receps.
Yeah.
A day. That's kind of what we average.
Gotcha.
And everything when we go on trips. So
what size of trip makes it worth it for you?
That's a tough one because there's really, we don't have a quota on our guys.
Yeah.
Because we want to help everybody.
Yeah.
And those guys that have like those 10 receps, I know it's, I was there one time.
Yeah.
And I'd want somebody to, if I had those 10 receps, hey, come to me, I would want somebody. And, like that's us, it's however small or big, we're going to try to help you out.
Yeah.
If you can if you're kind of small and kind of work with us on our schedule, we're going to swing by, get you taken care of, but, it's just, we want to help everybody. And there, even those small, like.
Yeah. The first time y'all flushed for me, I had 4 donors. I set them up wrong and I had no recips. I think we ended up with like 1 embryo.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Uh-huh.
But like,
that 1 embryo, you know who she made?
Cessna.
Cessna.
Yeah.
One cow I can't pronounce.
Her name is Cessna.
I don't think that's the only one. I think Colt's had some bulls too.
Casey has a pronunciation. It's that East Texas vernacular he's got. It fouls him up a little bit. It's Cessna. Like you could land a 747 Cessna plane on her big old back.
Yeah.
Cessna.
That's what I always say.
Thinks it's cinnamon,
Some extra syllables in there.
Yeah. He starts stuttering and speaking Chinese in the middle of saying Cessna.
So but look at yourself. Like you started out with 4. Now look at where you're at.
Yeah.
So everybody needs their spot. To get help with. So that's us.
Well, is there anything else? If some kid walked up to you and you were standing in line waiting to get a Coke in Buc-ee's, and they're like, Mr. Casey, how can I be like you? What would you tell them? How can I be successful?
It's just you got to work hard. You gotta have that drive. To get you there. To work hard and don't let anything step in the front of don't let anything step in the way of you. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to do something out of your norm. And just go for it. And don't half rear it. If you're gonna do it, go full force.
Half rear.
Yeah.
That's the PR.
The G version of that.
The G version of.
Because it's like myself. Like this is what I wanted to do. So when I was in grad school, I would call my buddies up, that were back in Texas. Hey, you got a cow I collect? I'll send you the supplies. You set her up. I'll come over there and just do a flush and freeze.
Yeah.
While I was in grad school. So I left Baton Rouge on Friday night, come do a cow on Saturday morning, drive back to Baton Rouge. Like I was determined to, get it mastered and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
How long before you felt comfortable doing it?
Far as like the collection process, like once it kind of clicked, I don't know, say about half a year, like it just kind of clicked. Now the transfers, that's a whole different story. Because your mind plays so many tricks on you. To me, in this, it's kind of like transferring, and you get 50%. Okay, what did I do wrong? Did I do something wrong not to get that other 50%?
And there's so many factors we'll never know the answer to. That's it's frustrating.
Yeah. When I first, it's always a joke. When I first started, everybody was like, "Man, we always have right CLs." Like, yep, always right. But the ones that had left CLs, I would pass because I couldn't do the left horn.
Turn that way.
I couldn't turn that left horn. So I was like, dang, left CL, pass.
Now we know.
So, that was starting out. But, My old boss, he said, man, you won't get comfortable until you get about 3,000 under your belt. Because then that's when your mind stops, questioning,
Yes,
and it just becomes a reflex, a norm for you, and everything.
It's a habit. I'd say it took me about 100 filters to go through before you really feel comfortable, like searching, finding, grading embryos, manipulating them, getting where you need to be to go quick enough to not get left behind or not slow this process down.
Yeah.
Kind of learning that stuff, it's like, every time we're learning something new.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of our clients gave us, an ID number, and I looked her up, but it was a whole new donor, so I gave the starting dose at that, that donor, and it was way high for this one. We had to make adjustments. Never there had that happen before. So we had to make adjustments. You're always learning, it's just not a cut and paste, type deal.
Right. Is there something that you've once believed in as far as reproduction goes, or this whole process that now you don't? Like a philosophy or a tactic or a skill that like you thought, you had to have, that's now either irrelevant or you don't necessarily practice that or believe that anymore?
No, nothing.
The reason I'm asking, you got a lot of white here, and I figured you've been around the block a time or two.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of technology and stuff that changes. Is there anything that you can remember that y'all used to do that you're like, now it's so much better because we do it this way, or, man, it was kind of dumb that we did it like that?
No, not really. To me, everything is kind of stayed constant, with everything.
Yeah.
And I know for me, it's one of those deals where like it works for us, with what we've done over the years. If something arises, I can make changes, to any of our protocols or, media, stuff like that. But, man, it's just one of those things where, I guess I'm old fashioned where, I do everything in order, like setting up and, getting ready and all that, just because if something's out of whack, then, I'm just like totally lost, like, hold up, something's not right, and so that way I know like all the procedures we've done and stuff, and I don't have to sit there and think about, I know it works and everything. So I don't think it's changed.
Yeah. I remember last year this day, you remember this too. It was so cold that his media was freezing in the line.
Oh, wow.
coming into the cow, it was freezing, and out of the cow, it was freezing. So that was a day where
we've never had that happen before.
Never had that happen before. So you're like, what do you do?
Just South Texas boys don't know what's going on.
Like,
we improvised.
Yeah, you had to improvise that day. Yeah, but you talk about throwing wrench in things. If it's not the same thing over and over again, you kind of get lost. You're like, oh crap, what happened again? So we stay pretty consistent on.
Yeah, that's kind of like the lab work. Like he does. It's every he has his steps,
structure.
Structure. Yeah, because if he sees a bird, it's like
that's the way it was in school, and I just kept having to reel it in. Focus,
exactly.
Markwood. You need to study
because we're messing with embryos, and you don't want to get those switched up or with numbers and everything. So if you just stay in order and it just everything falls in place.
I don't want to put the wrong cow in the wrong reset.
Yeah, sure.
You got any barn burners?
Yeah. As of right now, our Aggies are 9-0.
Whoop.
That's
whoop. Right. And in a couple weeks, we're going to go to Texas, play TU, saw them off, run them out of their own stadium, and take that one over too. That's my plan.
That's right.
Take over that stadium, just like LSU, just like Mizzou.
That's right. We didn't quite take over Notre Dame, but we finished it out in a pretty great.
They were pretty loud in the crowd.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is Casey and Markwood with Legacy Genetic Resources. Hope y'all have enjoyed today, got something out of it. Click like, subscribe, share. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whichever platform you prefer, and tune in next time.